Добар ден, почитувани гледачи. Ја следите емисијата Македонско издание, која што се емитува секоја втора сабота во 12:30 попладне на Роджерс телевизија на каналите 10, 63, 84 и во High Definition 510. Првата емисија на Македонско издание беше емитувана на 4 октомври 1998 година, а денешната емисија е 344-та поред. И во овој период од 16 години имитувавме прилози кои ги регистрираа настаните во нашава комуна и на тој начин ја забележаа историјата на македонците во Торонто од 1998 до денес. Како што веќе сме најавиле многу пати до сега, почитувани гледачи, Македонско издание е единствената телевизиска програма во Канада која во својата документација ги има сите емитувани емисии кои во иднина ќе бидат уште подрагоцени за презервација на фактите на постоењето на македонците во Канада. Јас сум Победа Пискачева, уредникот, продуцентот и водителот на оваа ваша програма и ви благодарам што во наредните 30 на минути одлучивте да бидете заедно со нас. На самиот почеток да ја проследиме поракава. За да набавите возило со врвен квалитет по поволни финансиски услови, јавите се кај Дени на телефон 905-881-3900 и прашајте за спектакуларниот попус за месец ноември. Освен Дени Спасовиќ, кој е генерален менеджер, можете да ги побарате Бане Јокиќ, финансиски менеджер, и Рада Вазич, кој е бизнес менеджер. Нова лекација каде можете да ги добиете сите овие поволности е во Хај Парк на 3275 Дандас Стрит, Уест, Торонто, со телефон 416-76-27537. И во денешнава емисија продолжуваме со материјалот што го снимивме на 20 септември годинава во Мариот хотел во Торонто, каде што се одржа Macedonian Heritage Ball во организација на Обединетата македонска дијаспора и фондацијата на канадското македонско место. Пред повеќе од 450 гости на оваа свеченост му беше доделено признание на Клис Париер, наречено Global UMD Achievement Award. Да го проследиме подготвениот видеозапис за достигнувањето на овој заслужен македонец.
It is now our distinct pleasure and privilege to present the Global UMD Lifetime Achievement Award, which is given to outstanding individuals who have made a lifetime of vital contribution for Macedonia and the Macedonian people and society at large. This recipient personifies dedication and service. Despite being a very busy and extremely successful partner in a highly respected legal firm, which several of you all right behind Chris are from Pellier and Rowland, and having been named one of the best lawyers in Canada and one of the 50 most influential people in Toronto, this man has found time to dedicate himself to helping the Macedonian people here and abroad for decades.
He is co-founder of Canadian Macedonian Place, served as board president and is currently vice president. He is the founder of the Macedonian Canadian Lawyers Association and a Macedonian Companions member of the United Macedonian Diaspora. And he has donated his legal expertise by providing thousands of hours of pro bono work, including international cases involving the human rights of Macedonians, and that barely scratches the surface of his contributions. Before we turn to the video, I just want to express how grateful not only to the Macedonian community who came out to support this evening, but also the legal community who is here in huge numbers, and I have to say it was quite overwhelming. And you're all here to support your colleague, your friend, and your mentor. This is a testament to how highly regarded Chris is by both communities. Don't worry, Chris, receiving a Lifetime Achievement Award doesn't mean your work is done. Now everyone, please turn your attention to the video.
It was 1915 when Chris Pallier's family originally moved to Canada from the village of Thyrsia in Aegean Macedonia in present-day Greece. Born and raised in Toronto, Pallier earned his Bachelor of Laws degree from Osgoode Hall Law School in 1970 and his Master of Laws degree from the University of Texas in Austin in 1971. 2 years later, he was called to the bar of the province of Ontario with honors and has been active in the Canadian Macedonian community his entire life.
He has been my #1 fan and always supported me to be the best person I can be. I've learned the importance of family above all else. My dad is a huge family guy. Chris and I have been dedicated to social justice and human rights causes for the entire time that we've known each other, which is now over 30 years. Chris has been a tireless and passionate advocate in support of Macedonian causes and human rights in northern Greece.
He epitomizes for me the values that we in Canada are so proud of. Somebody whose parents come to Canada with very little. He has very little privilege going for him, and he rises through sheer talent to make a major contribution. The other aspect of Chris that for me is so wonderful is that he has always been so openly proud of his Macedonian heritage.
My dad always talked about the idea of fairness, and it wasn't just evident in the way that he treated both my sister and me, but the way that he treated others and the way that he always encouraged us to treat others. My dad always speaks up for people who don't have a voice and had always encouraged us to do the same.
Well, Chris gave me my first break in law. He hired me right out of law school at a time when it wasn't at all clear that I was going to be at all good at practicing law, and at a time when most men his age didn't bet on women.
Some of Chris's earliest successes, and the ones that he trumpets most enthusiastically, were about people who had no money who were fighting the big guy.
So Chris's pursuit of excellence extends far beyond his legal practice and legal career, and people may not realize that he has been an avid athlete from ever since I've heard stories about it. He was the captain of the football team when they won the city championship. When in his last year of high school, he can exchange stories and scores in just about every sport you can imagine. He is as passionate about that aspect of his life as he is about his professional career, as he is about his family life.
He is loyal, he is committed, he is devoted, he is full of fun, and he is a guy that you want to be with on your best day, and the guy that you certainly want to be with on your worst. That's our Chris.
Chris is an outstanding individual who has not only helped improve Toronto and society at large through his philanthropy, but has given so much to the Macedonian community and has helped raise the profile for all Macedonians globally. Chris Pallier has been an inspiration for the next generation of Macedonians.
Dad, I just wanted to tell you that I'm so proud of you, and we all are. So congratulations on all of your achievements and what you're being celebrated for tonight. We are filming live right now from Macedonia on our trip back to the fatherland to see everything that you fought for, and being here, we really understand on a deeper level what all of this represents and why it's so important. So congratulations, and we love you.
Congratulations, Chris. This is a wonderful acknowledgement of what you've done for your community, but Lifetime Achievement Award it isn't. You've got lots of great things to do still. I know that.
Chris, you've done a phenomenal job. I'm very proud to have known you, and if Macedonia only had more like you.
Chris, Adi and I thank you for everything you've done. You make all Macedonians proud.
Love you, Dad. So proud of you.
Please join me in welcoming our Global UMD Lifetime Achievement Award honoree, Chris Pallier.
I would like to obviously thank Vana for her very kind comments and to tell you how proud I am of her and how happy I am to share the stage with her. As she said, we grew up in the same hood, and who would have thought that two Macedonian kids living near Don Mills and O'Connor one day would be receiving these awards together, but I couldn't think of anybody more that I'd want to share it with than her. Again, I'd like to thank, as Marilyn had said, my friends who are here, my relatives who are here, and my friends from the legal community. I can't tell you how touched I am by having you here. It means a great deal to me and my family. And let me recount for you, if I may, the same kind of story that Vana told you, that the journey for us, her and me, has been long, and it is rooted in the parents and the grandparents that we had. Growing up, I lived with my grandparents and my parents, and an uncle and my sister. There were 7 of us in one small house. And in that kind of a setting where Macedonian was my first language, as it was for my sister, you culturally learn what being Macedonian is and what it means to you. And so from that was forged the kinds of values and love I have for things Macedonian. And I can tell you that my father was 13 when he came to Canada. He came with no education. He came with no money. He came with a desire for a better life for himself and hopefully for future generations. And he came, and he was a shoeshine boy. He came in 1927. He was 13 years old. And he came because life in Macedonia, that portion of Macedonia currently occupied by Greece, was oppressive. And he wanted to make himself a better life. And he did what Macedonians ultimately did. And I just skip ahead 20 years. He, by that time, was married to my wonderful mother, who is here with us tonight. My mother is 94. I love her dearly, and but for my parents, I wouldn't be here. They were so encouraging throughout my career, which was checkered at times, but finally found its way to becoming a lawyer. But so my father went into the restaurant business, which is what Macedonians did. And some of you may not know this, but in the 40s, 50s, and 60s, the restaurant business in Toronto was, except for Chinese restaurants and except for very high-end restaurants, were principally run by Macedonians. And there's a book that I have that I cherish called Men in White Aprons. And it was a thesis of a non-Macedonian person from the University of Toronto who wrote about Macedonians and restaurants. And I was looking through it before I came to give this speech, and there were in that time frame, in about the 50s, when he did his research, at least 600 restaurants in Toronto owned by Macedonians. That's what we did. And so I was a product of that. And so kids would go off to camp. I went off to work at my dad's restaurant. I worked at my dad's restaurant from the time I was 13. That was my summer job. And, you know, you might think that that's kind of an interesting thing to do. It played havoc with my social life. Why is that? Well, I got into high school, and as Eva said, you know, I was a captain of the football team, and I did this and that, and I'd have dates, oddly enough, and so, but, let me tell you, when Betty the waitress didn't show up on Friday, there was a call to my house, and the dates all went by the boards, and so there you are trying to phone somebody at 7 o'clock to say, you know, remember that movie we were going to go and see? Well, if you want to stop by for a Coke and some chips, you know, you're more than welcome. So that was how I grew up. And now, you'd think that by the time I got to be a lawyer, that would have come to an end. So this is, I did it all through university. So just picture this. I'm now a lawyer, and I'm called to the bar, and I was doing some criminal law in those days, and I can vividly remember this day. I went to court, did what I needed to do, got back to the office. It's about 11:15. The phone rings. It's my mother. What are you doing? So I just got back from court. She said, well, what are you doing for lunch? So she wasn't calling for a date. Sometimes parents want to take their kids out for lunch. Not a chance. So she said, Betty didn't come in today. Would you like to come up for lunch? So I jump on the subway, up I go, and the reason it was men in white aprons is because it's different today, but you wore these long aprons with a string around them to keep your pants clean so that the slop didn't get on your pants, and you would tuck the order form in the string that held up the thing. Anyway, so up I go, and on that particular day, there were these lawyers that would eat in my dad's restaurant every day. They had their offices nearby, and I had been fortunate enough to have a case in the Court of Appeal, and they get these things called the Ontario reports that record precedent-setting cases. So I had done this case, and so I take the order from these guys, the bacon and tomato and so let me just, so I at this point, I am a BLT. I accepted, I'm a BTL, I'm a big-time lawyer. But here I am taking orders for BLTs. So I get their order, and I bring the order, and it's soup and this and that, and I put it down, and these guys, because it's lunchtime, they end up reading the orders, and one of them says, look, I'm just reading this. Is this you? So, that's me. So that's in about my first year of law. I've supplemented my income by going to work in my dad's restaurant. So, but it made you a better person, and I can't tell you what that experience was like of working with my parents, who I truly loved and admired. And I remember my girls saying to me as they were going through school, they had two parents who are lawyers, we're never going to be lawyers. Why is that? You work too hard. And I'd say to them, look, what I do is wonderful. I love what I do. What my parents did was hard work. That was hard work. And they did it, and they did it for us, and I can't thank them enough, and I think it's true for most of the people who are here.
За сите ваши потреби да купите ново или користено возило под поволни финансиски услови и технички да их одржувате дени или рада од Nissan Willowdale ќе ви помогнат на наш јазик 905-881-3900.
А сега продолжуваме со една музичка номера. Ovogodišnji Македонски филмски фестивал се одржа на 25 и 26 октомври годинава во Carlton Cinema во Торонто. Во продолжение да проследиме што забележа нашата камера од овој настан. The 8th Macedonian Film Festival just ending for this year. What are the impressions?
Well, I think that we've got some really interesting people coming to the film festival this year. And we had some lovely films, and I think they appreciated that. The winner actually is going to be on at 6:30 tonight, and Children of the Sun. We had awards this year, which was for the best feature film, which is Children of the Sun, as well as the best short film, audition material, and also for the best documentary, which was The Pursuit of Luck. Pursuit of Luck, which won Best Documentary by Maria Djidjeva. Lovely director. Well, we have a programming number of people, three or four people that look at all the films, decide which ones will be we would like to have. They are submitted, and this is the way we conduct it as professionally as possible.
And next year
is our 10th year. It's our 10th year. And this is really that'll be quite interesting because I'm really looking forward to it. I'm hoping to have something spectacular. I'm hoping that we'll be able to bring one of the more famous directors here, do a retrospective on their number of films that they have done. Hoping to get possibly even Stole Popov possibly for his film To the Hilt. We've been promised that. So I think that it should be something that most Macedonians in the community should not miss.
Virginia Evans, congratulations one more time, and this is terrific job that you're doing for the Macedonian community and also for the Canadian community to find out about our filmmaking history.
Indeed. And in fact, because of where this cinema is, we've had people that actually have wandered in to watch some of the Macedonian films. So this is a good thing. And also people who aren't married to Macedonians, they can come, they can watch these films because it's all English subtext. So that's the important thing.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Pobeda.
А сега следуваат неколку информации. За сите ваши прослави и одбележувања користите ги банкет-салите во црквата Свети Климент Охридски во Торонто. За повеќе информации јавете се на 416-421-7451. Канадското македонско место во Торонто е пензионерски дом кој ви обезбедува угодно и хармонично живење. За повеќе информации побарете Златка на 416-755-9231. За професионално и поволно дизајнирање на вебсајтови побарајте ги TJ Hosting на 647-547-3061. И секако читете македонски вести сега и со детални информации и важни надписи за македонската комуна во Торонто. За сите врсти на животно осигурување, осигурување за критични болести, осигурување на вашиот кредит за куќа, инвалидско и здравствено осигурување и осигурување кога патувате, јавете се на 647-977-0233. Ние ќе ви помогнеме да го одберете најповолното и најдоброто осигурување за вас. За сите патувања, посебно за Македонија, побарете адреса Белческа на 416-691-7184 или за побрзо да ја добиете на 647-780-6549. За грижива нега на вашата коса и незино професионално стилирање, побарајте ја Елизабета на 647-281-5501.
За сите ваши потреби да купите ново или користено возило под поволни финансиски услови и технички да их одржувате, Дени или Рада од Nissan Willowdale ќе ви помогнат на наш јазик 905-881-3900.
Ете, почитувани гледачи, тоа е се што подготвивме за оваа 334-та емисија на Македонско издание. Повторно ќе се видиме за 2 недели со нова емисија. До тогаш ви благодарам за вашето ценито внимание и пријатно.
Ni